Hey, what is up, you guys? It is Chromat here, and today I'm coming at you with another video. This time it's going to be general tips for beginning producers. Before I get started on the video, I just want to apologize that it has been a while. I know I said I try to upload 2 times a week, but this week just has been so busy. So yeah, I'm sorry about that, you guys. Anyway, this video is going to be general tips for beginners. Sorry if I leave anyone out, but I promise that I will have more music theory advanced stuff coming out soon, so stay tuned for that. Okay, so here are the tips that helped me become better at music production. Tip number 1: establish a goal. This is important because without a goal, you're going to wander. You're going to kind of like go aimlessly towards every direction that you find, and if you have a goal or if you have a target, you can aim for something. What kind of music do you want to make? Do you want to make big room, dubstep, trap? Narrow down the specific elements for each genre, then you can go from there. Work smarter, not harder. At first, when I started my music production journey, I wandered, and as a result, I kind of started to not exactly fall behind, but I began to plateau. I learned a lot of stuff within the first year, and then applied it and kept just learning different things, and I didn't have a goal, and so what ended up happening was I ended up learning slower. So that's step number 1, just establish a goal. Step number 2, I have this rule called the 20-30-50 guideline, which is 20% reading. The 20 is 20% reading, and I seriously cannot stress that enough because a lot of people, when they start off doing music production, they skip the manuals, and it's important that you read the manual. A lot of the questions that you have regarding specific DAWs or plugins can be answered in their manuals. If you're having trouble navigating Massive's UI, there's a manual for that. Having trouble understanding FL or Ableton's UI, read the manual. You need to know what specific knobs do in Serum. Read the manual. There are also plenty of books about music theory and composition, some that I might not even get to on this channel. Your local library might even have some stuff on music composition. Another thing that I would suggest you read is the Mixing Engineer's Handbook by Bobby Osinski and the Mixing Secrets for the Small Studio by Mike Sr. Those are 2 essential books if you want to get good at mixing and mastering. Also, Google. If you have a specific question, there's a pretty high chance that it might have been answered already, so Google is your best bet. If you use Google, you'll find many different places that help you with music production, even forums like Gearslutz and subreddits like EDM Production, We Are the Music Makers. Also, there's websites like Cymatics. I know a lot of people hate on Cymatics, but they do offer a lot of good stuff, especially a lot of good free stuff, so definitely check that out. Also, EDMProd.com. They have great stuff. It's a great resource with general information on music production with great podcasts. Also, Recording Revolution is also another great website full of information, though it's more geared towards the general producer and not the EDM producer. As I mentioned before, Reddit, subreddits, EDM Production, and We Are the Music Makers are great places to ask questions, search for answers, and get feedback. Seriously, Reddit is an invaluable source. Links to those subreddits will be below in the description. Gearslutz is also a great resource. I already mentioned Gearslutz, so yeah. Also, be on the lookout for Reddit AMAs from producers. I believe on one of Cymatics blog posts, they do have a master list of Reddit AMAs, which I'll be posting down in the description. Also, there are additional resources in the description below, like the general guide to EQ and things like that I found, and anything that I find that I think that's helpful, I'll be posting down in the description below. So that's the first 20% is reading. The next 30% is video tutorials. There's also a very good chance that there's a video out there that will help you make a specific sound, addressing UIs for both DAWs and plugins, and just showing general workflow tips. You can also watch others as they work their magic on their songs. My go-to video tutorial producer is SeamlessR, because I'm a native FL user, But then even like if you're not using FL Studio, you can still learn a lot from SeamlessR, because a lot of DAWs, they have similar things like EQs and compressors and synthesizers and stuff like that. A lot of them are pretty a lot of the information that you learn, you can take from one DAW to the other. Let's see. So SeamlessR for everything, at least for me. He has advice both about music production and the music industry. His track from scratch videos show how he makes a song from beginning to end, including his arrangement, composing, and mixing and mastering process. Let's see. And he has plenty of sound design tutorials and a sound design series called How to Bass, so definitely look at that. Aside from SeamlessR, Rocket Powered Sounds is also an awesome has awesome sound design tutorials for Serum. Sadowick is great for mixing, learning general mixing tips. He does have a series about how to mix a track from beginning to end. And as I mentioned before, Seamless also does mixing in his track from scratch videos, so if you want to get a breakdown on that, I suggest you go look at that. Composing and arrangement, SeamlessR, track from scratch. And although I haven't watched very many of his videos, I honestly should start watching more of his videos. Virtual Riot has tons of good information out there, so definitely go look him up. Let's see. There are plenty of music theories videos on scales and things like that. I've already basically covered pentatonic scales, so if you want to go back to, learning pentatonic scales and making melodies, I will add the annotation for the video, hopefully. If not, it'll be in the description below. And although these may not apply to your specific genre, so you may have to do some extra searching, but the resources for your genre shouldn't be too hard to find. And I try to make it so that a lot of this information that I'm giving you guys, or at least linking you guys to, is for general help, not just anything regarding a specific genre or a specific DAW. To recap, 20% reading and 30% video tutorials. Now the other 50% is practice. The majority of your time making music or learning about music production should be making music. So it should be honing your skills. All the information that I just told you about only applies to you with an only provides you an understanding. Sorry, not applies. You actually need to practice it to get better. The only real way to get better at making songs is to actually make songs. Go figure. Apply all of your knowledge to your next song that you've learned from your previous song. Okay, so that's step number 2 is a 20, 30, 50 guideline. So to recap, step number 1, establish a goal. Step number 2, 20, 30, 50 guideline. Step number 3, use reference tracks. Find a track that you want to base your newest track on and use it as a mixing/arrangement reference. If you don't know the structure or phrasing, copy another track's structure and phrasing. How long is their intro, verse, chorus, drop, outro? It makes piecing together parts of a track a lot easier. Reference tracks are also great for mixing. Comparing your mix sound to that of a reference track is a great, if not the best, way to get a good mix sound, because it shows you how your track compares to the pros and you can adjust your levels accordingly. Also, for those who have a difficult time mixing bass or mixing because of your environment, reference tracks is also a great way to get past this roadblock, because chances are the reference track that you're using has been mixed in a pro environment. So if you are mixing using a reference track that has already been mixed well in a pro environment, and you adjust your levels to get as close as you can to your reference track, then your track probably sounds good on the other end, assuming that you're doing your references. Okay, let's see. Using reference tracks is perhaps the most underrated mixing advice, and yet still one of the most important. At least that's how it is in my opinion. Okay, so that's step number 3, using reference tracks. Step number 4, feedback. Feedback is crucial for improving. If your first track is not going to be good, sorry, my alarm went off. Your first track is not going to be good. There's no way around that. But with the help of others in our community, like EDM Production Subreddit, and We Are the Music Makers, Gearslutz, things like that, they can point you in a better direction by telling you what can be improved and how to improve it. Sorry about that. Okay, so the next thing is it hardens up your skin. As a producer, you're going to get a lot of harsh critique. There's going to be people who like your tracks, but there's also going to be people who don't like your tracks. There's going to be some people who hate your tracks. Getting feedback helps you out with this situation because it gets you used to sharing your music, putting your music out there, which can be an incredibly daunting thing when you think about it. So, as I said before, EDM Production and We Are the Music subreddits have weekly feedback threads. And also other feedback subreddits for music are Amateur Production and Roast My Track. And I'll be linking all of those in the description down below. And the fifth thing that you need to, the fifth helpful thing that is good for new producers is community. Honestly, this is kind of like a running thing in this video, but being a part of a community, being a part of a music production community is, in my opinion, the best advice I can give you. You can learn so much from the random posts. Even sometimes when I just browse the subreddits, I find things that I've never known about and apply them. It also gives you a place to ask questions, and if you're feeling generous, you can also help each other out. So yeah, those are the 5 tips that I can give new producers. So to recap, tip number 1 is establish a goal. Make a goal and find a way to get there. You'll get there a lot faster if you do it that way instead of wandering. Number 2, 20-30-50 guideline. 20% reading, 30% video tutorials, 50% practice. Step number 3, use reference tracks. Step number 4, get feedback on your tracks. And step number 5, join a community. And there you go. I hope you guys enjoy this video. If you guys like this video, be sure to give a like or dislike and tell me in the comments what you want to hear in the next video, because I'm honestly running out of video ideas. But anyways, if you guys want to follow me on Twitter, I have a Twitter account. It's at twitter.com/chromatofficial. And if you guys like this video, be sure to subscribe to my channel. I will be trying to post out 2 videos every single week. I will do at least 1 though, so look forward to that. And as always, you guys,